Many people believe the term holy is only for priests or nuns who change history during and after their life. Well, an engineer and university professor from Chile doesn't fit into that category, but nonetheless, his cause for beatification is well underway. For several years now, priest Carlos Cox has looked into the life of Mario Hiriart, and he's convinced that the Chilean man lived a saintly life. He was born into a small family in the city of Santiago back in 1931. Even though his family wasn't very devout, he decided to take his faith more seriously in school. And thanks to a priest, he met the Schoenstatt movement, where he learned to exploit his talents to help others and ultimately to lead them to God.
Interestingly, many from his very generation came to be the founding fathers of Schoenstatt. He obviously considered it as well, but he knew that he had a different vocation. His vocation was to show the Spirit of God to others through his work as a consecrated layman.
When he was 20 years old, he had a powerful encounter with God. It was then that he realized his vocation was to be a consecrated layman of the Brothers of Mary, which was founded by prisoners of the Nazi regime.
Because it was born in a concentration camp, the idea is that the world has to be renewed from Christ. We could not face a world without people who bring the message of Christ by means of a modern language, a new culture, and a new civilization.
He began working as an engineer at a Chilean company that only hired professional engineers and economists of very high prestige. In fact, Mario Hiriart was one of them. And even though he was successful at a very young age, he thought that he could have a greater impact in a university.
He was hired at a company that was known as the engine of Chilean development during the 50s and 60s. But his vocations led him to help young people who were going through the process of growth and maturity.
So he left that job and became a full-time professor at the Catholic University of Chile, where his enthusiasm and smile are still remembered. However, he suffered from many health problems, and his full commitment to educating the youth sometimes created tensions between the Schoenstatt movement. In 1964, he traveled to the U.S. to speak with the movement's founder. But during that trip, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer and died a day after his meeting at the age of 33. His life was recorded, and now those documents are at the Vatican, where they're being analyzed by the team of theologians who are looking into his cause for beatification. A young engineer who, despite his failing health and challenges, is remembered as someone who was always smiling.